Hey everybody, welcome to Obrad's Record Review, where today I'm going to be looking at the brand new album by the Maryland rapper Logic. Now, Logic recently just announced his retirement with the release of this new album. Now, is this really Logic's last album? Who knows? I don't think so, but regardless, if this really is going to be Logic's last record, I definitely went into it with high expectations. Is this record the big blowout, celebratory masterpiece from Logic that we've been waiting for? Well, let's find out. Let's get into No Pressure by Logic. So, first, let's take a look at the album cover. Now, this one's pretty nice. It's a nice, cute little callback to Under Pressure, the last album. You can kind of see the wall and the poster, the chair and the couch that they were sitting on, and kind of the speaker as Logic's being lifted out into heaven or something. I don't really know. I like the style that this is in. I usually like all of Logic's album covers. I'm not sure who does them. I don't know the name of the artist, but I like the style that he works in. We probably could have done something a little bit more cooler, but it's okay. 7 out of 10. Now, this record is supposedly supposed to be Logic's last. And it's also supposed to be the sequel to the 2014 debut Under Pressure. Now, dare I say, Under Pressure being Logic's best album, mixtape, whatever that he's ever made. There's no other album or mixtape in Logic's discography that can really compare to Under Pressure. It really truly is Logic's best piece of work. So because of that, because this is his retirement album, it's the Under Pressure sequel, I'm gonna be doing a lot of comparisons to Under Pressure, and I'm expecting a lot. At the end of the day, after listening to this whole thing, I came away from it pretty underwhelmed. Before I get into all the negative things that I have to say, the best part of this project is definitely the beats and the production by No ID. The beats were really what carried most of my enjoyment through the album. There are some beats that I think are kind of duds, some that aren't as interesting as others, but for the most part, I think the beats and the production sound top-notch. At the same time, also saying that this is still the same sound that Logic has just been in since, well, for forever. There's nothing interesting or new here with the beats. He doesn't try to explore any kind of new sounds. It's just boom bap soul, all day, every day. They sound good, but at the end of the day, there's also nothing new that he's bringing to the table here. The No Pressure intro was good enough. He starts out with a monologue, and right off the bat, I'm getting like flashbacks, like Vietnam, to the Everybody album, which I absolutely hated for the overuse and just the sheer amount of talking that was in that record. All of the monologues and the preachiness, I hated it. But since this is just the intro track, I don't mind the monologue too much, and it's not that long, so it's whatever. The actual verse is fine. It just kind of sounds like Logic's just kind of spitting, just freestyling over the beat or whatever. And then we also, unfortunately, get Thalia back to greet us to the No Pressure program. I don't necessarily dislike the idea of having these little fun facts sprinkled throughout all of your tracks to kind of give you the idea of how it was made or whatever. But man, Thalia is so annoying. So annoying. Why did you make her voice cut up like that? I didn't really like it that much on Under Pressure. I still don't like it now on No Pressure. I mean, why is Thalia's voice always so cut up every single word that she says? It's so annoying. Why couldn't you just make her voice just talk smoothly? I mean, isn't Thalia supposed to be like a super AI from like 21, 25 or whatever? We have AI in 2020 or like 2011, whenever Siri was released, that can just speak normally. Why Thalia just doesn't speak normally, I don't know. It's a choice that is beyond me, but whatever. The song following the intro, Hit My Line, I actually kind of enjoyed it quite a lot. I liked a lot of the bars that he was saying. It was a nice beat. I agreed with a lot of the things that he was saying. I liked the bars. It seemed like he was coming from a really good place. Celebration had the biggest instrumental dud here. for me. These vocal samples are loud and annoying and grating. Also, the overall song just seems like a little bit too loud for me. It seems like Logic's and Silas here are kind of getting a little bit buried under the crushing weight of these extremely loud vocal samples. Also, isn't this song supposed to be like a celebration? I'm not getting much of a celebration vibe. It seems like Logic spends a lot of this track just kind of talking to the haters. And then, I don't know, just kind of generically bragging about being rich or whatever. I don't know if this one is a stinker for me or not, but the open mic track, my biggest thing with this one was just, wow, it's just so long. It's just so long and long-winded. I think the biggest problem that I have with some of these tracks in the beginning is that it seems like, at least on side one, there's no real focus. Like, what is the focus of this album? What is Logic trying to convey? What is, at this point, it feels like all these songs are just a bunch of freestyles. And I know that the open mic track, that's really just what it's supposed to be. It's just supposed to be Logic freestyling over these like really empty, generic, boring beats. He has some good bars in here. He has some really whack bars too. I mean, I'm trying to get ahead like a fetus. Really? Yeah, I don't know about that one. I mean, I will give it to him. And I will say, yes, it is impressive. And I'm not saying that Logic can't spit or that Logic can't rap. He definitely can. It's just, I don't know. It's just really long-winded, unfocused. He's not really saying much here. And that brings me to the two fan service tracks. So let's start with Growing Pains 4. So Growing Pains 4, what do we get on this one? Well, what we really just get is kind of just another freestyle sounding track. It's annoying because this is labeled Growing Pains 4. This is Growing Pains 4. Do you guys remember Growing Pains 3 from Under Pressure? I want you guys to stop. I want you to go back. Listen to Growing Pains 4. Listen to that song. Listen to what Logic delivered to us on the last sequel track to Growing Pains. Listen to that. Go back to 2014 Under Pressure and listen to Growing Pains 3. Growing Pains 4 cannot even compare to Growing Pains 3. First, it opens with a skit of all of these guys at like a park or something. The car comes by, there's a drive-by, which sets us up for Logic to go into his verse, where he starts painting his picture of his life in Maryland. He's running around doing drugs with the homies. Daddy's locked up, mom's on drugs. It's this and that. My life is hell. I'm this young kid in Maryland. I'm stuck in the slums. I really don't want to be doing these things, but I don't know what else that I should be doing. And then he slips into the dream sequence part of the song. And what did he experience in his dream sequence? It's not being a famous rapper and having a whole bunch of money and fame and power. No. What does he have in his dream sequence? He has a stable lifestyle. It's what he wants as that kid in the slums, in the situation that he's in. He has a stable lifestyle. He has kids that he loves and he parents and that he's there for. He has a wife that he loves and he's there at the dinner table talking to them, and then until he realizes that he slips out of the dream and none of that's real and he's still stuck in this shithole place. It's a powerful song. It has meaning. It has purpose. He was focused when he wrote that. He had a story to tell. It was cinematic. And then Growing Pains 4, it's just for the title. It's just for the title. It's just trying to be fan service for the fans is what it feels like. It feels like there was no inspiration behind the track. In fact, I'm just kind of realizing this right now. The track I'm going to talk about later, Man I Is, why didn't he take that song and expand on that for Growing Pains 4? I mean, wouldn't that have made more sense? But I'm going to talk about that one later. Soul Food 2. Again, what do we get on Soul Food 2? Well, in the first half, we just get the same exact beat, but at least in my opinion, it sounds worse. It sounds louder and more blown out. And then just kind of another freestyle feeling track. It doesn't feel like Logic has any kind of focus or purpose or doesn't really know what he wants to say, so he's just freestyling about being rich and bragging and blah blah blah. And then we follow the same exact beat steps as the first one. We go into a beat switch up, and then Logic in the second verse just decides to spoon feed everybody the entire plot to The Incredible True Story. Why? Why? I don't understand. Why? If I wanted to listen to the Incredible True Story, I would just go listen to the album. Why do you need to feel the need to just bring this, like, is it just for fan service? Soul Food told a story. I implore you to go back, listen to the original. In the first half of Soul Food, we have Logic, again, painting a picture. He's painting his picture of his life in Maryland, cooking crack, selling it, running around with the gang, or whatever. Yeah, in this first half, he deviates a little bit, talking about his gold chain and whatever, but for the most part, we have a focused verse painting his life as a young kid in this shitty place. He has a love for music and he wants to get out. Boom. Beat switches up. We get a little bit more space here. Thalia comes in. Hip hop. We go into the second half where Logic is now made it. He's now made it out of that place that he was talking about. And now he's famous. And he's a rapper. And he's successful. He has a commercial album out now. And then he's talking about more with the price of fame and the pressure that comes with it. And it was a great passage of music. Again, it was cinematic. It was focused. He had a story to tell. And what do we get on Soul Food? Just a bunch of nothing. It just feels uninspired. I didn't care for side 2 that much either. Although there was 2 of the songs I liked. I did like Man I Is. It's probably one of my favorite ones here, where Logic, again, talks about his life growing up in Maryland, but he's proud of that. He's not ashamed or embarrassed from where he came from. That's where he was. He dealt with it. He made it out, and he's proud of the man that he's becoming today. He's successful. He's a father. He's going to be a family man, and he's proud of that, which he should be. And it's a great track, which I don't understand why this wasn't the sequel to, or if this was Growing Pains 4. I mean, wouldn't that make more sense and be a better jump to where he's now kind of past the come up of being successful, and now he's kind of at the end of that now at his retirement, and kind of reflecting on everything that he's done and being proud of it and wanting to become a family man. Wouldn't that have been a much more satisfying ending and a much better story to be told? The other song I also really liked on side 2 was Dark Place. My biggest issue with this is that it wasn't longer. We get what feels like a very genuine place coming from Logic. Anything whenever Logic gets a little bit down and he's kind of talking about depression or anxiety, there's always some kind of hidden uplifting feeling, or he has to switch the beat up and, you know, get more uplifting, but he doesn't. He sticks on theme, and it's one of the more focused tracks here, and I really like this one because it's something a little bit different. Logic kind of deviates from everything else he's been doing all these years and is able to come in and focus on this one topic. The most sad part about it being whenever he was talking about how rap used to be easy and he could write and rap whatever he wanted before he got famous. But then he got famous, and now he says it only brings him pain, which if that's true, that's really, I mean, that kind of really hit me there a little bit. I wish it was longer. And I also wish that he didn't ruin the song. That he didn't ruin it with another monologue. Why? It was perfect how it was. Why did you have to add this monologue? It doesn't add anything. It doesn't add anything. It's Dad Bod was funny. I'll give it to Logic on that one. It was funny and enjoyable on a first or second listen, I think. It's kind of a troll song, and it's still kind of a bitter track because I feel like he's trying to get back at the haters. The verse about, he's rapping about his own life and going to the store and buying trash bags and whatever. You know, it was funny. It was tongue-in-cheek. I liked it, but at the end of the day, it feels just kind of like a novelty track. And I couldn't think of a worse way to finish off your big blowout retirement album with a 6-minute monologue. Again, why? What's the point? Why is there another monologue? Is this everybody again? I'm getting flashbacks, man. You know what would have been, whenever I was listening to this album, I did not listen to this. Did you guys actually listen to this entire 6-minute monologue? Because I just scrubbed through it, and once I realized that it's literally just all talking, I didn't listen to it. It's kind of like whenever you find out that your ex like cheats on you or something, and they're sending you like big walls of texts, and you just kind of skim it and don't read it, and just like text back like K, and you send like an iMessage game. Like, that's this track. That's this whole monologue. I just looked at the Genius page, scrubbed through it and was like, yep, I'm not listening to it. I just threw it out the door. Why? Well, you know what would have been a way better ending? Okay, on the A to Z track, which was also kind of really dumb and had a trash beat on it, there was a really cool part of that song where Logic played or what I read at least was the first track he ever recorded in 2005, Bobby's demo tape or whatever Thalia told us, and it was that old recording of Logic spitting a verse for the first time. Why didn't you take that out of the lame ABC's song and just put that at the end? Bobby's demo. And that was where he started. His very first song he ever recorded. Wouldn't that have been a much more wholesome and great way to send Logic off? I think so. And I know I was kind of ripping on Logic. I know I was really going in. I was getting a little worked up, getting a little bit passionate. But I don't think that this album is trash. I simply just think that it's a bit just disappointing and underwhelming. I'm more frustrated because Logic is now retiring. He's supposed to be done now. And that's frustrating for me to hear because I still don't feel like Logic ever came into his own. I don't think Logic was able to carve out his own voice in the world of hip-hop, because even all the way up since 2014 in his 6-year commercial journey up to this album, he still takes so much inspiration and wears it so blatantly, even on this one. Logic is a guy who's really cool. He has a lot of heart. He can rap. He can spit. I'm not denying that. But what he did with it in his 6 years, it just feels so little. It just feels so little. It feels like kind of wasted potential. I'm feeling a 4 out of 10 on this one. I was really underwhelmed by what Logic gave to us. I hope everything goes well for Logic and his family. I hope he has a lot of good times with his son and with his wife. And I hope we get to see Logic on some songs, at least some features in the future here. So, did you guys listen to No Pressure? Let me know down in the comments what you thought of it. If you have any suggestions for me, for any first listen videos, for any reviews, anything you want me to cover formally here on Record Review, let me know. I don't get that many comments or views, so I'll probably do it. That's going to do it for this episode of Record Review. Catch you guys on the next one.